Alright, starting a new game. We are on Trials and Tribulations. It is the last game in the trilogy, like I said. So after we beat this one, we'll be moving on to probably Civilization 6, which is the next thing in the queue. I think we're going to beat this before we beat Nonary games, because actually, the first Nonary game looks pretty short. We're almost through the whole first playthrough. So, yeah. But I don't know how long the second game is. I think they're fairly short. Shorter than the Phoenix Wright series. So we'll get into Civ 6 and probably start up, I think, Chrono Cross along with Civ 6 is my idea. Is what I want to do. I may even start 3 games. Because Civ 6 I'll probably play 2 to 3 hours and then maybe switch to something else. Because I don't think I could do a full stream of Civ 6. I mean, maybe I could. Maybe if I get really into it, I could. But I'm looking forward to learning more about Civ 6. Because I am not very good at Civilization games. How did I get into this mess? Why? Why did I do that? Oh, dude, it's Phoenix. That girl, you shouldn't see her anymore. Hey, it's none of your business. I'm telling you for your sake. If you continue to see her, it's going to be bad news. You're lying. Just listen to me. There's something you need to know about that girl. Stop it. Don't talk about her like that. Uh-oh. Is Phoenix in trouble? Oh, come on. What'd you do this time? It wasn't me. I didn't do it. Oh, I didn't do it. Alright, good strong start. Is this like a flashback? Did this happen 5 years earlier? Mia Fey's second trial. Okay. April 11th, 9:40 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 3. Whew, it's finally time. I'm kind of nervous. Oh, we're Mia for this one. It is a flashback. Okay. Probably how... This is probably Phoenix's first trial, but he's on the wrong side. Oh, Mr. Grossberg. Good morning. Mia, please calm yourself down. You're going to get yourself arrested for suspicious behavior, you know? What are you talking about? I am relaxed. Mr. Grossberg, look at me. I'm relaxed. Let go of my lapels. You obviously haven't got the temperament to be a lawyer. I'm sorry. It's just that I'm so nervous today. Oh, that's right. This is your first time in the big leagues, isn't it? Well, never you fear, my dear. I, Marvin Grossberg, am at your service. Actually, this is my second time in court. Still, you surprised me. What with your earnest request last night? Let me handle this case, you suddenly said, and quite forcefully, too. I just found out yesterday about the case, I mean. What? And you've already learned all the relevant facts? Well, about that, you see, I mean, of course I have, I think. Oh dear. In any case, don't let our client see you so nervous. You see the poor young man in the pink sweater over there? That's our client. Good morning there, everyone. Good morning. Try to keep smiling, Mia. I just want to say I'll give it all I've got. Yep, it'll be fine, no prob. What's wrong? Do you have a cold or something? Mr. Wright? Actually, it's Wright. People, like the Flying Brothers. People screw it up all the time. And yes, I have a cold. That's what this mask is for. My doc says this way I won't give it to anyone else. Be kind to others, he says. Right, Mr. Wright. You have nothing to fear in court today. If you are truly innocent, I promise I will save you. Please, let go of my shirt. That's right. He's the one on trial, not you. He's the one who should be nervous. You need to stay strong for your client, Maya. My name is Maya Fey. I'm still pretty new at this lawyer thing. The first time I appeared in court was a year ago. I wonder if this whole game plays before the other games. I kind of doubt it. I'm sure Phoenix does the other trials. This might just be an introduction. Oh, okay. You know why I think they did this? At the beginning of each game, there's been a reason to explain the mechanics all over again. In the first game, obviously, it's Phoenix Wright's first trial. In the second game, Phoenix Wright got total amnesia, so he forgot everything, so it had to explain it again in the second game. And now we're playing as Mia, who is on her second trial, so I'm sure it's going to explain everything again to us a third time. So that's probably not the main reason they did this, but it's probably a good reason why they did it. But that trial traumatized me so badly. I thought I'd never set foot in another courtroom. It's been 1 year since then, and, well, here I am again. But this time I'm gonna win. For my client, and for myself. I was gonna say I like Phoenix Wright's shirt, and since Mary works in a shirt store where she designs shirts, I was gonna say she should make me one of those, but then I realized the implications of his shirt, which is a heart around the letter P. I don't think I want that shirt anymore. Oh hell yeah, this guy. Court is now in session for the trial of Phoenix Wright. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. Oh, he has a pompadour now. The defense today is Miss Mia Fey, was it? Yes, Your Honor. Is there a problem? I was under the impression that Marvin Grossberg was to be leading the defense. Yes, well, you see, Mr. Grossberg had a bit of an emergency. Emergency? But isn't that him standing there right next to you? Yes, well, you're just a rookie. Are you sure you can really handle this? Don't let him scare you, Mia. Give him your toughest look. Hell yeah. Of course, Your Honor. I think. Well, Mr. Payne, your opening statement, please. Well. I can't believe a veteran like me has to spend his time babysitting a new defense lawyer. Don't worry, little girl. It'll be over soon. What was that all about? Was he trying to trash talk me? Now then, I'd like to proceed with a summary of events on the day in question. The incident occurred on the campus of Ivy University. The murder victim was a student named Doug Swallow. He was a fourth-year student studying pharmacology. Sounds like he was a very bright young man. Yes, well, next we have a photo taken at the scene of the crime. God, my nose is so itchy. I don't know, I was thinking of buzzing some of my beard off and trimming my mustache a little bit more. Make it thinner. Because it keeps curling up and hitting my nose, and it's the most annoying thing in the planet. Students discovered the scene shortly after the murder. They found the victim's body. And the defendant, who had obviously bungled his getaway, they then called the police. That certainly makes the defendant look very suspicious indeed. Very well. The court accepts this photo into the record as evidence. By the way, I can't quite tell the cause of death from this photo. Your reputation for sagacity is well earned, Your Honor. The truth is that this victim died a rather unusual death. An unusual death? What do you mean, Mr. Payne? Well, perhaps the defense would like to take this question. Huh? A simple question. I thought I might loosen you up a bit. I am a genteel man, if you will. A what? Stand up to him, Mia. Show him what you're made of. Ah, perfect opportunity. Well, what is it? The cause? Go on. Please say you know at least this much. I'm so sorry. I didn't get a chance to read through the whole file. My hemorrhoids are beginning to act up. Oh, gross. Now, see here. The details of the case are filed under the court record. But you knew that already, didn't you? The court record. I think I can see that by pressing tab. All the weapons we need can be found in the court record. Take a good hard look at the data there and think carefully before you answer, my dear. Yes, sir. I'll do just that. I've got to stay calm. I can't let the prosecutor get the better of me. Okay, let's see. Date of time of death 4/9 at 3 p.m. Cause of death was a fatal electric shock. Wait. I mean, it's like... I mean, this feels pretty straightforward. I could solve this in maybe like 2 questions, maybe. Why do they think Phoenix did it? Now then, would the attorney for the defense please answer the question? What was the cause of death? Electrocution. According to the court record, it was a fatal electric shock. In other words, electrocution. Electrocution, huh? But how could such a thing happen? Did the murderer use some type of new super powerful stun gun, perhaps? The answer to that will be crystal clear as the trial proceeds, Your Honor. But before that, there is one more vital issue. What's that? Why, motive, of course. Apparently, there was some bad blood between the victim and the defendant. Bad blood? What do you mean? Whoopsie, I'm terribly sorry. You're the defense attorney, so you must know all about it. I shouldn't be stealing your spotlight like this. I really don't like this guy's smug attitude. That's Winston Payne for you. He is one smooth operator, if you catch my drift. They don't call him the rookie killer for nothing, you know. He's just a nobody in the other games. Now then, let's hear from the defense. What was the source of the bad blood between the victim and the defendant? And this time, I would like to see some supporting evidence. Evidence? No need to get all worked up over this. As I said, all our weapons can be found in the court record. Find the evidence you need, and then shove it into old Greybeard's face. Yes, sir. Into old Greybeard's face. I'm surprised they didn't make the judge look younger. It's just the same guy. Maybe his beard's bigger, actually. I feel like it's about the same size. Try to set a better example for the young lady. Mia, evidence isn't the only thing in the court record. People's profiles are as well. Okay, that carried over. You could toggle between profiles and evidence with tab, so be sure to go over it all. Now then, let's see what you've got. What was the cause of the bad blood between Phoenix Wright and the victim? He was a 4th-year pharmacology student at Ivy University. Phoenix Wright's girlfriend, holy shit. Phoenix got game? Dated the victim Doug Swallow up until 8 months ago. Okay, that's pretty obvious. The reason for the bad blood between the two of them was this woman here. Dyla Hawthorne, was it? Very good, Miss Faye. You seem to have picked up on at least this much. This woman is the girlfriend of the defendant, Phoenix Wright. But up until about 8 months ago, she was with the victim, Mr. Swallow. Clearly, she has some part to play in this story. Yeah, he's done it again. Before the cross-examination starts, he's already got the judge thinking like he wants. Very well, Mr. Payne. Please call your first witness. If it pleases the court, the prosecution would like to call Mr. Phoenix Wright. What? The defendant himself? Well, Miss Faye, it's fine. After all, Mr. White is innocent, right? The defense has no objection. Very well. The court calls Mr. Phoenix Wright to the witness stand. Witness, please state your name and occupation. Oh, yes, my name is Phoenix Wright. My job is, well, right now, I guess I'm a suspect. No. He means, what did you do before you were arrested? Oh, I was a university student. Mr. Wright, you understand, but I didn't do it. I'm innocent, I tell you. I'm telling you I was achoo, cuff. Will the defendant please refrain from passing on his cold to the rest of us? It seems the witness has something he wants to say. Well then, Mr. Wright, please tell us about your relation to the victim. Right away, Your Honor. Should I be saving? I probably should eventually. Let me save real quick. It doesn't really matter. I'll just save over. I don't think I'll go back to any of these. So I'll just replace maybe this one. I'll save this one. I admit I was there, but I'm not a killer. All I did was find his body. I hardly knew the guy to begin with. I never even talked to that stuck-up British wannabe. He wants to be British? He's not British? I see. So you hardly knew the victim. Right. Like I said, I'm not a killer. Looks like the judge understands. You're being naive, you know? Too naive. Huh? It seems that you've forgotten one small thing, young lady. And that would be? This witness still has to undergo something called cross-examination. Cross-examination? He's right, and it's the defense's duty to carry out the cross-examination. The purpose is to determine if a witness's testimony contains any contradictions. Contradictions? If a witness is lying, their statements will conflict with the court record. But Mr. Wright is my client. Even if he is your client in court, all lies must be struck down. As a lawyer, that is your duty, you see? What does he mean by that? Is he saying the testimony just now? That there was a lie? A contradiction? Now then, your cross-examination, if you please, Miss Faye. Please, Mr. Wright, tell me you haven't been lying. You wouldn't do that to me, would you? You probably would. Just leaving something out. Actually, you know what? I think... Wait, where did my... There it is. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I think the light needs to be a little brighter. A little dark in my room today. Alright. I admit I was there. When you say there, you mean the place where the victim was murdered. Yeah, sort of. The place where something happened anyway. Something? You can't hide what happened. We have photographic evidence. Anyway, Mr. Wright, what were you doing at the scene of the crime? I thought you said you didn't know the victim, Mr. Swallow. It was just a coincidence. We bumped into each other by accident. A coincidence, huh? But I'm not a killer. All I did was find his body. You say you found the body, so who called the police? Huh? Unfortunately, it was some other students that notified the police. Other students? That's correct. They were witnesses. Witnesses who saw the defendant standing there next to the body in shock. What? Is this true, Mr. Wright? Could you stop sneezing every time you're in a bind? Well, it's true. I was pretty shocked when I found the body. But I hardly knew the guy to begin with. So, you didn't know his face or even his name, right? Right. Well, no. That is, I mean... So, which is it? Do you know him or not? Now, see here, you can't avoid answering the question by sneezing all day. I guess I did know his name. News to me? Why didn't he tell me that before? Um, I heard he used to date Dolly. Who's this Dolly person? Ah, yes, that would be the defendant's lover, Miss Dahlia Hawthorne. Oh, I see. Ah, young love, so bittersweet. Well, that's all I knew about him. Never even talked to that stuck-up British wannabe. But you know him, this is... Mr. Wright, you stated the following in your testimony. I hardly knew the guy to begin with. That's right, I mean, why would I even... But that doesn't sound right. If you hardly knew him, then why would you say that the victim was a stuck-up British wannabe? Well, Mr. Wright? No, it wasn't me. I'm not a killer, I swear. Mr. Wright, I will give you an opportunity to revise your testimony. How is it that you knew the victim, as you put it, a British wannabe? Yes, well... He was always walking around with a huge Union Jack on the back of his shirt. Did you see it at the crime scene? The Union Jack, I mean. Yes, that's right. I saw it at the crime scene. That's why I figured he must love British stuff, see? It's true, cross my heart. I swear I didn't do it. He's acting fishier than the salmon I ate last night. May I ask you something, Miss Fay? Yes, Your Honor. What is it now? Who is this person anyway? This Union Jack fellow. The Union Jack is the name of the United Kingdom's flag. Oh, I see. So you mean like the stars and stripes, right? As usual, Your Honor, your insight astounds me. Hey, something just occurred to me. Isn't there something strange about this bit just now? Mia, there is a contradiction here. Mr. Grossberg. Quickly now, show that boy you mean business. With evidence, I mean. Okay, Mia, check the court record carefully. Well, my dear, do you think you can manage on your own from this point? Yeah, I can do it. 1 year ago, I was in a courtroom just like this. I can do it. I can handle myself. You mustn't try to bite off more than you can chew, Mia. I'll be fine. I know what I have to do. Remember, you could always press him to get more information. Oh, and one more thing. Oop, I missed that. That's fine. Okay, Mia, one more time, from the very beginning of this testimony. Did he have the jacket on? Is it on the front? I'm not a killer, I hardly knew the guy to begin with. I never even talked to that stuck-up British wannabe. Always walking around with a huge Union Jack. I already pressed this, right? So, you didn't know his face or even his name, right? Right, well, no. So which is it? I think there's a contradiction here, maybe? Okay, never mind. There wasn't a change. Is it because... I mean, if I get it wrong, does it matter? I don't think there's a Union Jack in the picture. Are you certain you saw a Union Jack? Yeah, I'm sure. It was right there on his back. Miss Fay, is there some point to this line of questioning? Your Honor, please take another look at the crime scene photo. As you can see, there's absolutely nothing on the victim's back. Hey, wait a minute. He's wearing a leather jacket. The Union Jack was on the back of the t-shirt he was wearing. I was under the impression that you accidentally came across the body. But if that was really the case, then you wouldn't know that, would you? You'd have no idea at all what he was wearing underneath that jacket. Mr. Wright, you've been lying to me. Please forgive me. Mia, you've made our client cry. Let him... That P on his chest doesn't stand for Phoenix anyways. What does it mean? I can't believe I trusted him. Mr. Wright was all wrong. That was an impressive bit of cross-examination. Thank you for uncovering the defendant's lies for me. It's quite clear that this man did not simply stumble upon the scene of the crime. Did I go too far? By the way, Mr. Wright, you seem to have a rather bad cold. Have you taken any medicine for it? Yeah, I took some, but... Was the medicine that you took an over-the-counter brand called Cold Killer X? Yeah, that's right. It kills colds good. Hey, wait a second. How did you know I'm a big fan of Cold Killer X? You should be a fan of any medicine. Would you happen to have that medicine on with you right now? Well, actually, I seem to have lost it somewhere. You lost it? Does this even have anything to do with this case? Mr. Wright, shall I tell you where your cold medicine is right now? Huh? Your Honor, I'd like you to take another look at this photo of the crime scene. What's this? In the victim's hand, it's Cold Killer X. Yes, but even I've got a bottle of Cold Killer X in my apartment. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid that argument won't work. There's no doubt as to who this bottle of Cold Killer X belongs to. It was over the counter, right? Especially since Mr. Wright's fingerprints were all over it. Oh, okay, that's all it was. What? Sensing his murderous intent, Mr. Swallow must have picked up the bottle of medicine, dropped it by Mr. Wright, and hid in his hand. His purpose in doing so can only have been to identify his killer as Phoenix Wright. Your Honor, I'd like to present this photo and bottle as evidence. Very well, the court will accept them into the record. Victim's watch stopped at the time of death. Okay, that'll be important. Cold Killer X is added to the court, found clutched in the victim's hand, covered in Wright's fingerprints. Also, the victim's wristwatch was broken. Broken? Yes, it ceased functioning when a large wave of electricity passed through it. Well, Mr. Wright, do you have some kind of explanation for all this? This is really bad. Oh, my buttocks. My poor hemorrhoids. He's the one suffering the most in this trial. The truth is, I went because he called me. He was in the pharmacology department, so we agreed to meet at 2:45 behind that building. We talked for a bit, and then at around 3, we split up. Then later, when I went back, I found him lying there. I'd been taking Cold Killer X for the last 2 or 3 days, but I lost my bottle of it around lunchtime on the day of the accident. Mr. Wright, that's completely different from the testimony you gave previously. I'm sorry, Your Honor. I was afraid you wouldn't believe the truth. You'll forgive me if I say I hardly find your current testimony any more credible. Miss Fay, please begin your cross-examination. Please, Mr. Wright, don't tell any more lies. It went because he called me. Had you ever met the victim before then? No, never. But that day he called me up and told me he wanted to talk about Dolly. And this Dolly person is my, it's kind of embarrassing. She's my, sweetheart. What? What was that for, Mia? Oh, I'm sorry, I just felt like slapping something all of a sudden. Dahlia Hawthorne was also the lover of the murder victim, Doug Swallow. Before she met Mr. Wright, that is. So it was one of those nasty love triangles. I see. So agreed to meet at 2:45. Was it Mr. Swallow who indicated you should meet at 2:45? Yeah, and we were both there right on time. You said the victim was in the pharmacology department, correct? Yeah, he was studying how to manufacture and improve pharmaceuticals. Everyone called him the alchemist of IVU. An alchemist, I see. I gotta admit, it was a little suspicious. He had a whole laboratory and everything. It was filled with chemicals and strange machines that run on high voltage electricity. Oh, how fascinating. He sounds like he was quite the ambitious young man. What do I do? Maybe I should ask him more for more details. I feel like this isn't very important, but I'll ask it anyways. I'll do this one first, though. So you are absolutely certain that you met at 2:45? Yeah, pretty sure that's the time class ends. But they're always doing experiments, so it doesn't matter much. Experiments? Yeah, those pharmacology guys are always in the lab whipping up something. Well, it looks like he's right about the time anyway. Witness, let's go on with your testimony. Okay, let's ask the other thing. I was wondering if you could tell us a bit more about the pharmacology department. Well, okay, sure. I don't know all that much, though. A little bit earlier in your testimony, you said something interesting. You said the department uses strange machines that run on high-voltage electricity. That's right, and they sure look dangerous. They use non-standard voltages, so there are high-voltage cables everywhere. High-voltage cables? Yeah, there were electrical poles set up all around the building. The high-voltage cables run overhead around the roof. Finally, I think we're getting somewhere. Okay, that was important. We talked for a bit, and then around 3 we split up. So what was it you were talking about? You know, that maybe we should hang out again sometime? I doubt that's it. Hang out again sometime. I wish that were true. Then later, when I went back, I found him lying there. So, you say you went back? Yeah, that's when I found the body. Yes, but why did you go back in the first place? Weren't you angry with him? Well, that's right, I was. Then why, Mr. Wright? Why did you go back there? I thought maybe we could make up? No one believes this bullshit. Judging by the atmosphere, I'm pretty sure no one is buying this. Cold Killer X for the last 2 or 3 days. It's rather unusual to catch a cold this time of year, isn't it? Yeah, I always get a little careless when the weather starts to warm up. I guess I shouldn't sleep with the window open this early in spring, huh? I suppose common sense is not always common. So, did anyone else know that you were taking cold medicine? Well, I always took one after meals, so pretty sure all my friends knew about it. On the day of the incident, what did you do for lunch? Huh? What does that have to do with anything? You can never be sure. I always eat with Dolly, just the 2 of us. Dolly's homemade lunches are just the greatest. Her mini omelets are magically delicious. Why did you punch me in the jaw? Oh, I'm sorry, I just felt like hurting someone all of a sudden. Why is she doing this? I think that's enough for now. So the defendant and the victim met at approximately the time of his death. And then the defendant returned to the scene for some unknown reason. I'm not entirely convinced by his explanation about the medicine bottle either. Let me be frank here, Mr. Wright. Your testimony cannot be trusted. What do you mean? I knew it was too much work for a little girl. However, there is one mystery that still remains. There is, Your Honor. How the murder was carried out, of course. Just how was the victim electrocuted? I don't believe the murder weapon has been produced yet, correct? Well, that is... You are correct, Your Honor. So how exactly was Mr. Swallow killed? If I could somehow establish how it was done, maybe I could still come out of this mess smelling like a rose. I could do that right now. I could easily tell from the picture. Your Honor. Yes, Miss Svei. I believe that if we were to piece together everything we've heard up until now, we should be able to solve the mystery of how Mr. Swallow died. That would be most impressive. Quite the brash statement coming from a rookie. But even a beginner like you must understand the basic rules of the court, yes? An attorney must be able to substantiate their arguments with evidence. Of course I know that. Actually, I had totally forgotten about that. Now then, Miss Faye, let me see what you've got. Show me how you believe the victim was electrocuted. It's in this photo. It's clear as day, mister. As for the cause of death, I'd say this picture captures it quite well. What? But there is nothing that even remotely resembles a murder weapon here. I'm afraid the defense is going to have to explain this in a bit more detail. Miss Faye, where exactly in this photo is the murder weapon? Well, naturally, it's right here. What is that? A severed electrical cable, I believe, Your Honor. Remember the testimony we've heard. The machines the pharmacology students use in their experiments require high voltage. And because of that, there are special high voltage cables strung up everywhere. So then the high voltage cable. Yes, the high voltage cable is the cause of death. That is the most likely explanation. That certainly sounds plausible. Well, Mr. Payne, what do you have to say about this? Well, I believe some praise is in order. Don't toy with me, old man. Now, the victim's cause of death may indeed have been a high voltage cable. However, I want you to think about what that really implies. The only one who had the opportunity to use the cable as a murder weapon was the defendant. That much is certainly true. Yes, and that's not all the proof we have. Irrefutable proof that will establish that Mr. Wright was the murderer. You do? Well, what is it? His fingerprints. Fingerprints? You mean that the defendant's fingerprints were on something besides the medicine bottle? Let's take another look at the crime scene photo. As you can see, the victim is wearing a leather jacket. And as you may know, leather holds fingerprints quite well. You mean... Yes, it was quite clearly imprinted on the chest area of the victim's jacket. The palm print of the defendant's very own hand. What? I can only think of one way Mr. Wright could have left a print like that. Intent on murder. He squarely pushed the victim towards the severed electrical cable. This case is too easy. You could solve it right away. Maybe he goes deeper, but I feel like this is a very basic tutorial trial. I think we can conclude that there is no reason to continue with this cross-examination. Stick a fork in us, we're done. Mr. Grossberg, my hemorrhoids never lie. The show is over, Mia. I knew that boy was guilty the first time I saw him. No, you're wrong. Mr. Wright is innocent. No further evidence is required to convince me of this man's guilt. Your Honor, at this time I am prepared to render a verdict in this case. Do you have something further to add, Miss Faye? Is this what you want, Mr. Wright? You still haven't told us the truth, the whole truth. If you don't say something now, the judge is going to hand down his verdict. But I can't say it. If I told you what really happened, then I'd be... It's okay, Mr. Wright. I'm your attorney. You can trust me. Miss Faye, no matter what it is you have to say, I believe in you and I'll represent you to the very end. We've already established the defendant's guilt. There's no further need for him to say anything. Well, wait a minute. Mr. Wright, I'll tell you what really happened. But I already told you, Mr. Wright, there's no need for further... Can he say objection? I did it. I admit it, I pushed him. It's my fault. That girl, you shouldn't see her anymore. Hey, it's none of your business. I'm telling you, for your sake, if you continue to see her, it's going to be bad news. You're lying. Just listen to me. There's something you need to know about that girl. Oh, she's probably the killer then, isn't she? Don't talk about her like that. What you just said, was that the truth? Yes, I was afraid. Afraid that if I told the truth, everyone would think I was the murderer for sure. Well, as things currently stand, we're absolutely convinced you are. But please give me one more chance to explain. This time I swear I'll tell the whole truth. It'll be okay, won't it? Miss Faye, I believe in you. Oh, thank you. I still can't believe it. You really did push the victim. It feels like my hemorrhoids are doing the Harlem Shake. Was the Harlem Shake even topical when this game came out? I don't think so. Wait, hold on. Yeah, it came out in 2004. When did the Harlem Shake song come out? 2013? So this game came out well before the Harlem Shake existed, so maybe it's a port thing? Why would they change the dialogue? That's weird. That guy he was talking bad about. Dolly, okay. I lost my temper and gave him a shove. At that moment, I heard some kind of loud noise. A little while after I left, I started to get worried, so I went back. But he was just lying there, dead. Well, the explanation is really quite simple. When you pushed him, Mr. Swallow flew back and touched the electrical cable. He died from the shock, and that, as they say, is that. A simple explanation indeed. At the time of the incident, a light rain had been falling. Wet from the rain, the victim was more easily electrocuted. But when I pushed him, there weren't any electrical cables nearby. If there had been something like that, even I would have noticed it. That's true. Even a doofus like him couldn't miss that. Miss Faye, let me warn you right now that if your cross-examination doesn't yield any new facts, I intend to deliver my verdict without further delay. Are we clear on that? Yes, Your Honor. Don't give up, Mia. If he is innocent, there must be some kind of evidence somewhere that will prove it. So, what kinds of things did Mr. Swallow say to you? He said all sorts of terrible things about Dolly. He said that she was a bad girl. The dings. Is that all? Yep. Well, Miss Faye, you heard him yourself. Oh boy, you're not doing yourself any favors here, Mr. Wright. Please don't make this harder for me than it already is. Anyway, after he said that, I just lost my temper and gave him a shove. Can you tell me about what happened in a little more detail? That guy, he just said what he wanted to say to me. Then he put on the jacket he was holding and started to leave. That's when I lost my temper and flew into a furious frenzy. I just gave him a light, gentle shove to the chest. And when you did that, there was no severed cable anywhere to be seen. Right, there was nothing like that at all. But is it possible that you merely overlooked it? Well, I guess it's possible. What are you doing? Don't let that guy steamroll over you like cheap asphalt. I believe what's important here is the moment the push occurred. Let's continue on with the testimony, witness. Oh, he did hear a loud noise. A loud noise. And you would, what would you say that loud noise was, Mr. Wright? I'm not sure, but it was really loud. It was like snap. You know, come to think of it, I wonder what that was. Clearly, Your Honor, it was the sound of the victim being electrocuted. You're not qualified to decide that. What should I do? I'm treading on some dangerous ground here. Ask for more details. Mr. Wright, that loud noise you heard may be extremely important, so try to remember what it was. How do I put it? It was like a sharp crack. Could it have been? Yes? Could it have been? Hurry up and tell us. When I pushed him, he dropped the umbrella he was holding. Oh, that's what was the snap. He fell right on top of it and it broke. That was probably the noise I heard. An umbrella, huh? And did that umbrella belong to the victim? Yeah, it was a plastic umbrella, cheap and frail. Kind of like the owner. Damn. Some light shade being thrown at the victim. Then again, I wish I had any kind of umbrella. I was totally soaked to the bone. Miss Faye? What do you think? Is there something important in that testimony just now? Well, yes, yeah. This is it, Mia. The new information you've been waiting for. Of course it's important. No, this cheap umbrella is more than important, it's vital. I want to officially have it entered into the testimony. How perfectly fitting. Flimsy information for a flimsy lawyer. The court agrees to the defense's request. Witness, please add the bit about the cheap umbrella to your testimony. He fell down on top of his cheap umbrella. I think I already know where to go, but I'll press this. So, Mr. Swallow fell on top of his umbrella, and you are certain of this? Yeah, it was right under him. Actually, if it hadn't been under him, I was planning on borrowing it for myself. The umbrella, you mean? Well, yeah, you see I was wearing the sweater here. Dolly stayed up late for nights at a time knitting it for me. I didn't want the rain to dampen the handmade symbol of her love. Oof, my stomach is not to be used as your personal soccer ball, Mia. I'm so sorry. Continue on with your testimony, witness. Left has started to get worried. After you shot the victim, did you leave the scene right away? Yes, I did. I admit it, I was furious. You left without even checking Mr. Swallow's condition. Well, yeah, but like I said, I got worried about him later. So I went back, but he was just lying there dead. I'll press it, I might as well. At that time, did you see anyone else at the scene of the crime? Nope, nobody. Jeez, could that stupid cough possibly sound any phonier? In that case, it's very hard to believe someone else could have been the murderer. Unless we can find something that shows his innocence from his testimony, my dear. I'm afraid the judge will make his final decision with no remorse whatsoever. Yes, sir. Right now I need more information. Yeah, okay. We need to find this one. He fell down on his cheap umbrella. And I believe it's the first crime. Yeah, the umbrella is nowhere near him. Why didn't you testify about the umbrella from the very beginning? Come on, if I had mentioned that, I would have been able to counter the prosecution's arguments earlier. What do you mean by that? Take another look at the crime scene photo. According to Mr. Wright, the victim fell on top of his umbrella. However, if you look closely, the umbrella is nowhere near the victim. Actually, it's by the electrical pole. You're absolutely right. The conclusion here is obvious. After the defendant left, the victim moved from where he fell. In other words, after he was pushed by the defendant, Mr. Swallow was still alive. No! The victim, he moved? Mr. Payne, the umbrella in this photo, where is it now? Well, it was collected by the police at the crime scene. I want it presented as evidence immediately. Crime? But the umbrella could have simply been blown there by the wind. If you fell on top of it now. According to the testimony, the victim fell on top of the umbrella. There's simply no way it could have been blown there by the wind. But... I like this new music. I believe it's new. I know this matter of the umbrella seems relatively trivial, but as long as the smallest doubt remains, I cannot render final judgment. No. Hey Charlie, what's up? Oh, good stretches. I must say I still find it hard to believe that a huge hole has been blown in the prosecution's case by the defendant's testimony. Phoenix's testimony at...
The cloud just came through, so I'm gonna go.
You're gonna head out? Okay. Yep. Good luck. See ya. Message me about the brewery thing. Okay. Okay, just let me know when you're done. Alright. Sorry about that. Oh, my back hurts. I did a lot of shoveling, so my back is a little sore from that. Well done, Mia. Mr. Payne, what are you chuckling about? Pardon me, Your Honor. It seems I was expecting too much of a free ride. It was foolish to think I could establish guilt through cross-examination alone. I'm afraid I don't follow what you're saying. Let me guess, you have another witness. Exactly. And this witness's testimony will be incontrovertible. Incontrovertible. Interesting word. Well, who is this witness? Miss Dahlia Hawthorne. Dahlia Hawthorne? You mean Dolly? I do, Your Honor. The defendant's very own lover is a witness to the whole thing. That's right. She was at the scene of the crime when the murder took place. Boy. Come on, focus. I'm sorry to break the bad news to you, my dear. Bad news? You couldn't be more wrong. Actually, I've been waiting for this. You can't be serious. Mia, what do you mean by that? I think this is a good point for us to stop at. Court will now enter a 20-minute recess. Afterwards, we will listen to the testimony of Miss Dahlia Hawthorne. Miss Faye, I'm sorry about what happened back there. It's all right. At least you told us the truth in the end, Mr. Wright. Yeah, so I guess I can start to relax then, huh? Relax, my boy. You can't be serious after hiding such important facts. But the next witness is my Dolly, right? She'll save me. I just know she will. Why do you think that? Huh? What do you mean? She's the love of my life, that's why. The love of your life, huh? Would you mind telling me more about you and Miss Dahlia Hawthorne? Sure, no problem. Dolly and I, we first met about 8 months ago, right here in this very courthouse. Interesting. Oops, shit. 1 second, my headset unplugged. It's pretty low battery right now, so I gotta keep it in. Or plugged in. Actually, I'm studying to be a lawyer on the side. Anyway, one day she and I bumped into each other in the reading room downstairs. That's why I really think it was fate that brought us together. As soon as I first set eyes on her, I knew she was the one for me. Oh, here, take a look at this. She gave this to me the day we met as a symbol of our love. That is quick. She had been wearing it around her neck that day, but then she took it off. But before she gave it to me, she said, I want you to carry this. So she gave it to you as a present. I see. This darling little bottle is filled with memories of my darling little Dolly. It certainly is a little bottle, alright. It makes me so happy. I show it to everyone I meet. I want to share my happiness with the whole world. Okay, I wonder how that's going to be important. Anyway, so after that, you and Miss Hawthorne started dating. Yeah, but she's so shy. Every time I see her, she's always says the same thing to me. Please give it back now. What a strange girl asking for a present back like that. By the way, Mr. Wright, the day you first met Dahlia Hawthorne 8 months ago, it wouldn't happen to have been on August 27th, would it? Huh? Yeah, it was. But how did you... This happened on August 27th, right here in this courthouse. What's this? A newspaper clipping? Let's see. Murder in the courthouse. Murder? What are you reading there? Let me see that. Oh, I see. Mia, I think I understand what you're trying to say. And I think I understand why you suddenly took such a keen interest in this case. You believe there is some connection between these two cases, am I correct? I hope you don't mind, Mr. Grossberg. I need to finish this myself. Yes, but I'm afraid what you have will not be enough, my dear. I'll go and have a look in the downstairs reading room and see what else I can find. Thank you. I want to do whatever I can to be of help to you, Mia. Well, it looks like recess is about over. We'd better all get moving. I guess so. But, that recess sure seemed longer than 20 minutes, though. Ooh, is that a new save sound? Oh, also, happy April Fools, everyone. I don't know if that's something you wish a happy happy day on, though. I wonder if Google did something today. They usually have something, but they've been kind of small over the years. Court will now reconvene, Mr. Payne. Please call your witness. This next person is someone who witnessed the crime as it happened. The prosecution calls Mr. Dahlia Hawthorne to the stand. But what's with this stiff silence? In my long career as a judge, I have been deceived by many witnesses. It's my job to doubt, to take no one at their word. But in your case, I must admit that you radiate a glow of complete sincerity. I can't believe he actually said that. Oh, now then, witness, could you please state your full name? Don't worry, sweetie, there's no need to be nervous. If anyone says anything rude, you can be sure I'll cut them right down to size. And I will banish them with my gavel. I love how they look straight at me when they say that. Thank you for calming my nerves. You were all so nice. I almost feel right at home. Not at all. It was nothing. If we may move on now, what is your full name and occupation? My name is Dahlia Hawthorne. I'm a junior in literature at Ivy University. I just want to say, it's an honor for me to be here in your noble presence. The honor is all mine. No, the honor is mine. Well, we know whose milkshake brings all the... Why is it doing all these references? When did that song come out? It wasn't 2004, was it? Maybe it was 90s. I don't know when that song came out. There's been like 2 references that are throwing me off. Sir, is there something I can help you with? You just go on and say whatever is on your mind. I'm sure that there must be some kind of mistake. Beanie wouldn't kill anyone, I just know it. Yes, yes, I could see why you'd say that. She's going to be a tough witness, alright. It only took her 12 seconds to wrap them all around her little finger. Now then, please proceed with your testimony. Let's hear about what you witnessed on the day of the incident, if you please. I had been planning to go back to Feenie's place after class was over. Feenie and Dougie, they were talking behind the building. Then, suddenly, Dougie got all wobbly and just collapsed. That's when Feenie noticed that I was there. I went to go and find some other students, and they called the authorities. I don't know what to say. According to you, Miss Hawthorne, the defendant didn't do anything wrong. Young lady, as old as I am, even I recall how hot the flames of young passion can burn. Nevertheless, it is my job to discover the truth. Please tell us the truth. But I would never. That's more than enough, witness. I won't allow this to continue. What do you mean by that? Please, just let me proceed with my cross-examination, Your Honor. I, for one, don't plan to win my case on a bunch of paper-thin lies. Hee, you haven't changed a bit, Mia Fey. What's this? You two are acquainted? Yes, we've met before, once. In any case, Miss Fey, the floor is all yours. It's good to see you again, Madam Fey. Madam? I'm no one's grandma yet, girlie. Okay. Her eyes are so weird. They're so anime. I had been planning to go back to Feenie's place after class was over. Now, unless I'm mistaken, Mr. Wright, is in the art department. If that's the case, then what were you doing by the pharmacology building? Well, I'm in the literature department. I'm studying Japanese senryu pottery. Oh, how wonderful. It's that humorous yet satirical style of haiku, yes? Nothing left to do when a man reaches this age. Sleep is his best friend. That's supposed to be poetry? Sounds more like a midlife crisis. For me to get to the art department, I have to walk through the back area. Ah, yes, I see. That makes sense. When I want to enter the courthouse, I always walk through the front doors. It's a weird, weird connection, but alright. How else would you enter? Teleportation? Feenie and Dougie were just talking behind the building. So, who is this Dougie person? Oh, I'm sorry, Doug Swallow. We were dating until about 8 months ago. So, what were Dougie, Mr. Swallow, and Mr. Wright talking about anyway? How can you be so mean? I would never eavesdrop. I wasn't raised to be so rude and unrefined. That's right, Mrs. Fey. Don't drag the witness down to your level. Why am I being demonized here? Please go on. What did you see next? Okay, this is the big red flag. Are you saying that the victim just collapsed on his own? Yes. In other words, the defendant never touched the victim. Is that right? I was watching the whole time. Feenie never did a thing to Dougie. If I press her for no good reason, I just know the judge will get angry with me. I mean, his print is on his jacket. Do we have the jacket in here? Do we not have evidence of this? Shit. I'll wait. I suppose her statement works in our favor for now. I'll hold off on looking into it any deeper until it's necessary. That's when Feenie noticed I was there. And what did Mr. Wright say when he saw you? I'm sorry, I was so flustered that I really don't remember. Please forgive me. You don't remember? Well, that's common enough. Sometimes I can't recall a sentence I passed only minutes prior. Please, anyone stop him before he gets hurt by me. When you say students, do you mean the students from the pharmacology department? Yes, they were all fond of their drugs. Please try to stay on topic. So, to find some pharmacology students, you went to the labs, correct? That's what I was planning to do, but in the end I wound up not going. A group of about 10 research students came running out of the building entrance. Somehow they all seemed to know what was going on. The students knew what was going on? But how could the students have known what was going on? Well, I don't know for sure that they knew what had happened. It's just they all seemed kind of excited about something. It doesn't look like I'm going to get any more info about the students. So did the students call the police? Yes, I was so panicked. Yes, well, anyone would have been, my dear. That girl, she's telling a super obvious lie, and she knows it. She's just pretending to protect Mr. Wright. Yes, that's gotta be it. Way to go, Mia. Okay, that means I'm going to have to dig deep to find the contradiction on this one. Okay. I wish we had the jacket in evidence. So it was at like 3 about? A little after 3. 3:05. At least that's what it looks like on the clock. Date and time of death was at 3 p.m. Cause of death was a fatal shock. Okay, where was it that we needed to press or show evidence? I think this one? Feeble lies are not very becoming, Miss Hawthorne, so let's drop them, shall we? What? I would never. Miss Fay, I will not allow you to badger this witness. I believe the defense is engaging in a fishing expedition. That is, she has no supporting... But please don't glare at me like that. I'm just doing my job. Now then, Miss Hawthorne. The defendant's palm print was... Yeah, okay. She did it herself. I didn't actually have to present anything. Was found on Mr. Swallow's leather jacket. It has already been shown that Mr. Wright did, in fact, push the victim. What? There's no need to try to cover for the defendant. It would be much better if you came out and told us the whole truth. There's nothing to worry about, young lady. Just tell us everything that you saw. Yes, Your Honor. I will. If you don't mind, I'd like to revise my testimony. Looks like we're finally getting somewhere. Actually, I didn't see the moment he pushed Dougie. You didn't see it? Well, I saw the moment when Dougie fell to the ground, and at that time, there was only 2 of them at the scene. The defendant, Phoenix Wright, and the victim, Doug Swallow. Yes, that's right. Oh, is this a completely new statement, or... Oh, wow, she added a lot. Well, I guess she added 2 statements. It didn't look like they were fighting, and it didn't hear anything unusual either. So then, what did it look like they were doing to you? I thought they were having a nice, friendly afternoon conversation. Oh, give me a break. That's why I really wasn't watching them all that closely. Did you notice anything out of the ordinary at all? No, nothing at all, Mr. Judge. Oh, I like the sound of that, Mr. Judge. Now then, please proceed with your testimony. Well, maybe it was clear that they were fighting in some way. Oh, and I didn't hear anything unusual either. The statements that he heard a loud sound could counter that, probably. I think that's probably it. Seriously? That's not it? Oh, did I do the umbrella? I meant to do the testimony. That's fine. I don't think we have to worry about health here. There we go. Yeah, I pressed the wrong thing. My mistake. I've done that before. You say you didn't hear anything unusual. Is that correct? Yes, that's why I was very relaxed, looking at the scenery around me. God, she's so badass. That's nice, but I find that just a little odd. I have here the testimony of your boyfriend, Mr. Phoenix Wright. And he clearly testified to the effect that when he pushed the victim, he heard a sharp, loud noise. He said that? If you were really that close to the two of them, why didn't you hear this noise as well? Well, maybe the noise just wasn't all that memorable. But according to Mr. Wright's testimony, it was a sharp noise, like a snap. There's no way a noise like that could fail to make an impression. May I have a moment to answer? By all means. I know the reason why I didn't hear the noise. You see, the truth is, I had my headphones on and I was listening to music at the time. Headphones? You mean the both of you, your ears were covered? The rain was just beginning to let up, but it seemed as though Thor wasn't ready for his fun to come to an end yet. So the sky continued to flash and rumble. Thunder and lightning, huh? Yes, I'm afraid of the sound of thunder, so I put my headphones on to block it out. Well, Your Honor, as you can see, there weren't any contradictions in her testimony after all. Wait a sec, Mia. The testimony just now. She said something that could totally change this whole case. Yeah, she didn't hear anything. She was listening to music. I think there was lightning is interesting. I'm gonna save here. Let me look at the court record. Maybe the snap was the sound of lightning, maybe? Because I don't think there was anything she said she heard. She said she wasn't eavesdropping, so she didn't hear the conversation at all. So that's true. She technically didn't hear anything from her statements. But the fact there's lightning could maybe... It could be an explanation for the sound that Phoenix heard. Your Honor, there is a problem with the witness's testimony. What do you mean? Didn't you notice? She said there was lightning, correct? Yes, what about it? Well, lightning is actually a large discharge of electricity in the atmosphere. Am I right? Now's not the time for a science lesson, Miss Fey. Yes, Your Honor. Anyway, Since the cause of death was electrocution, isn't it possible that the victim died from being hit by a bolt of lightning? Oh, ah. I must admit that the thought had not occurred to me. Is it kind of bad to say that since we already addressed the weapon was the wire that was hanging? Just what kind of thoughts do occur in this guy anyway? This entire case is built on the premise that Mr. Doug Swallow was murdered. But that very premise itself is mistaken. The defense believes that Mr. Swallow was in fact the victim of a stray bolt. It appears the defense may be on to something. Could it be that the death was actually accidental? Alright, you did it, Mia. Okay, yeah, he's gonna bring up the wire that we already addressed. I'm hurt that you have such a low opinion of me, Miss Fay. Huh? I'm not a fool, you know. The prosecution has done its research, Your Honor. We found that there were no lightning strikes on that day of at the location. What? What's more, we have evidence that the electrical cable is definitely linked to this case. Evidence, Mr. Payne? Well, what is this evidence? This affidavit. Is it affidavit? I think that's what it is. And who is this affidavit from? The pharmacology students who were conducting experiments in their lab that day. Allow me to read out to the court the testimony of the pharmacology students. All equipment in the labs lost power all of a sudden at around 3 p.m. that day. Was it a blackout? All the lab's equipment runs on high voltage, Your Honor. So you're saying the equipment lost power because... Precisely. They lost power because of the severed electrical cable. The power outage occurred at approximately 3 p.m. Which fits what the time of death listed in the autopsy report. Exactly. In other words, the victim died as a result of touching the severed electrical cable. Obviously, okay. According to the students, the cables were very old. They were planning on having them replaced in the near future. I see. Apparently, the cables had become so brittle that even the smallest bump could have caused them to break. However, there is one thing that troubles me. If the cable could have been broken by any small bump, then it wouldn't have snapped if it hadn't been bumped into, correct? Well, I suppose you could say that. Miss Fay, do you have any thoughts regarding the cause of the severed cable? Your Honor. I don't like how this is looking one bit. I have to come up with something to try to regain some momentum. If it pleases the court, the defense would like to state its opinion. Well then, let's hear it. Who or what was it that caused the cable to break? Could it be the umbrella? I don't know if I have evidence for this, honestly. Unless, wait, let's check the crime photo. It could be the lightning. Oh, but that's not evidence. Oh, there was no lightning strikes, never mind. It could be the watch. Oh, no, it couldn't have been. Because we're asking what caused the cable to break. It could be the umbrella, maybe? Oh, wait. Did he push him into the pole, maybe? And it broke the cable? But I wouldn't want to say that as a defense attorney. Broke due to some sort of impact. On 4:15 or 4/9/2:55 p.m. So he died after the power went out for a bit because the clock stopped at that time. Yeah, so the timing's off a little bit. Because that's like 3:05. Power went out at 2:55. Says the cause of death was a fatal electric shock. Yep. I think it might just be the victim himself. I don't know. Maybe? This is it. This is why the cable snapped. Well, Your Honor, I believe that the only thing that has snapped is the mind of the defense. Ah, that was one of your best lines yet, Your Honor. Ugh, ouch, that was harsh. Please, Your Honor, give me one more chance. Well then, let's hear it. Who or what was it that caused the... Is it the umbrella? I was thinking that he was near the pole, maybe he got pushed into the pole. I'm gonna say the umbrella. Seriously, okay. Oh shit, my headset just turned off. I think that usually means my headset's fully charged, so that's a good sign at least. Although it takes a long time to start back up. I'm not... Okay, I've always had... what is it? Wired headphones. This is my first ever wireless headset. And I'm not a huge fan of it disconnecting all the time and having to charge it. Could it be the fall? Okay, I just wanted to see. I wasn't sure if it was ready for me to accuse her yet. I think it might be the... This? When he fell? Okay, okay. So I wasn't completely wrong. Because the things I... Because I was thinking, oh, the umbrella, because he fell on top of it. And then I thought of maybe it was him because he fell and that impact could have caused it to snap. But it was literally just the fact that Phoenix said that he fell. Your Honor, please think back to Mr. Wright's testimony. The defendant's testimony. He said that after he pushed the victim, he heard a loud, sharp noise. Now, this happened at around 3 p.m., correct? Yes, that sounds right. Wait, are you saying that? The lab equipment lost power at 2:55 p.m., which fits right in Mr. Wright's timeline. In other words, it was Mr. Wright's shove that caused the power outage. Yes, the prosecution also came to that same conclusion. And it was that very shove that caused Mr. Swallow to be electrocuted. I'm afraid I can't agree with you there, Mr. Payne. What's that supposed to mean? Take a good look at where the victim landed after being shoved. See the umbrella? It's by the electrical pole. That's right. The victim banged into the pole as a result of being pushed. It was that impact that caused the cable to break. Well, that makes sense. And then the victim was electrocuted? No, he moved and then was electrocuted. I'm sorry, Your Honor, but no, it doesn't make sense at all. If the victim was shoved into the far pole, then he couldn't have been electrocuted by the severed cable in the foreground either. In other words, someone other than my client must have electrocuted the victim. Ah, the lamentations of my enemy. How I've longed to hear them. It's true, the defense is absolutely correct. There doesn't appear to be... Mr. Judge, sir, may I say something? The Madame Madam Attorney's explanation, she said some things that are a little different than I remember them. What? What the? Please, just once more. May I please testify one last time? Please, Mr. Judge? Of course it's alright. Just go right ahead and give your new testimony. This is it. She's finally starting to show her true colors. The truth is, Feeney pushed him twice. First time was into the electrical pole. That's when the cable broke. Then Dougie tried his best to run away from him, but Feeney caught up and crashed into him from behind. What? The cable snapping and Dougie being electrocuted, it all occurred in less than a minute. I gotta read that again because that doesn't make any goddamn sense. So after being shoved, the victim got up and tried to run away. Why would the victim run away? And that is when the defendant pushed him for the second time. So, I'm so sorry, Feeney, but I just have to tell the truth. Am I doing the right thing? Am I, Mr. Judge? Of course you are, my dear. As painful as it may seem, you are. Now then, Miss Fay, you may proceed with your cross-examination. Pushed him twice. The first time was into the electrical pole. That's when the cable broke. Dougie tried his best to run away. Okay. This is such a weird statement. Miss Hawthorne, previously in your testimony, you said the following. Actually, I didn't see the moment he pushed Dougie. I know. I'm sorry. I wanted to protect Feeney. So that's why you basically lied to the court. I was a bad girl, I know. Mr. Judge, yes. Would you please forgive little old me? Of course he won't. What you did was perjury. Oh, come now, it was just a little old white lie. We'll forget it this time, but please be more careful from now on. Oh, thank you, Mr. Judge. Not at all. The judge had better be more careful himself. A dark alley is friendlier than that girl. First time was into the electrical pole. That's when the cable broke. You're saying you actually saw the victim get pushed into the electrical pole? I know he doesn't look it, but Feeney can be a bit of an imp when he wants to be. Oh, really? But I never imagined that he would cause an electrical cable to break. Feeney really is scary when he gets mad. Yes, he sounds like a very dangerous individual indeed. So let me get this straight. We're happily listening to music on your headphones while you watch this scene unfold? What? Miss Fay, I'll have to ask you to stop badgering the witness. I wasn't happy. I was so scared that I couldn't even move. All I could do was stand there and cheer them on. Oh, cheer them? Cheer them on? What do you mean by that? Well, I wish the best for them both, and that they would each give the fight their all. That's very sweet of you, to be so supportive. And what happened after that? That doesn't sound quite right. There were handprints found on the chest of the victim's leather jacket. Mr. Payne, were there also prints found on the back of the leather jacket? Well, no, there weren't. Madam Fay, may I suggest that you listen a little more carefully? I said that he crashed into him from behind, right? My Feeney wouldn't leave any prints behind in that case, would he? Snapping and Dougie being electrocuted all occurred in less than a minute? No. Okay, I know the counter argument here. There was like a 5-minute gap between the actual incident. Did you actually witness the moment the victim was electrocuted? I'm sorry, I didn't actually see it. I turned my eyes away. That's understandable. Yes, indeed, it would have been a horrific sight for anyone to behold. If I don't figure out the contradiction here, It's all over. She didn't have much time to come up with her lie, so this is my best chance. There must be a hole in her testimony somewhere. Think, Mia. Okay. Pretty sure it's just the watch. That's enough, witness. I'm afraid I don't understand. You will in a minute. Could you please take a look at this picture? Oh, that medicine. That's the one Feeney likes to take for his cold. It's not the medicine I want you to look at. It's the wristwatch. It stopped at the precise time the victim was electrocuted. In other words, 3:05 p.m. Yes, and your point is, Miss Fay? My point is this. What time was it when the lab suffered the power outage due to the cable snapping? Well, according to the student's testimony, the answer is clear. It was 2:55 p.m. What? Would you care to explain to the court, Miss Dahlia Hawthorne, what exactly happened during this 10-minute interval? The defense proposes that it was during this interval that the real murderer killed Mr. Doug Swallow. This is nonsense. The real murderer. Even you can't deny that the time between the cable breaking and the electrocution are completely unaccounted for. Then who was it? Who else are you saying could have done it? Oh, are we gonna point the finger now? I mean, she's the only other person there that witnessed this, so it has to be, Dolly? Yeah, Dolly. There's only one person who could have murdered Mr. Swallow, only after my client had left the scene. Was there a window of opportunity for the real killer? Miss Fay, is the defense ready to indict someone as this real killer? It's finally time. This is the moment I've been waiting for. I'm guessing she got out of the previous court case, maybe? Yes, Your Honor, we are ready. Very well, but remember, if you accuse the wrong person, you will be penalized. Or penalized, doesn't matter how you say it. Think very carefully before you speak, Miss Fay. Now then, Miss Fay, let's have it. Who is the real killer? Got it. It could only have been you, Dahlia Hawthorne. What? How could you... The defense is grasping at straws. 10 minutes passed between the time the cable broke and the time of electrocution. What exactly were you doing that whole time, Miss Hawthorne? Were you really listening to some music while cheering them both on as they fought? I find it hard to believe that you didn't lift a finger to stop the men dearest to you. Order. Miss Fay. I mean, why? That is to say... Miss Hawthorne, I believe you did witness the two men fighting on that day. However, after Mr. Wright pushed the victim and subsequently left the scene, it was you who pushed Mr. Swallow to his death by your very own hands. How could you say something so mean, Madam Fay? I didn't do anything. Miss Fay, this is a very serious charge you are. Oh, dude, Phoenix, what's up? Your Honor, please, I have something else to say. You, what is it? Please strike everything the defense said just now from the record. What the? Are you daft? You're totally wrong, Miss Fay. Dolly, she couldn't do something like that. Mr. Wright, get back to your seat. Bailiff, grab that man. Leave my Dolly alone. Ah, that boy. He's gotten himself way over his head. Oh, Mr. Grossberg, you're back. It seems I've arrived just in the nick of time. I found the police report on that incident in your newspaper clipping. Thank you so much. This is exactly what I was hoping for. You better take a good look at it. It details how you came to lose your boyfriend. Now then, the defense has made a very serious accusation. I'm going to read it real quick. Cafeteria Diego Armando. Occupation lawyer. Suspect Dahlia Hawthorne. Okay, so she was the suspect previously. What was the name? Diego? Okay. Armando ingested poison while interviewing the suspect regarding another case. Traces of poison were found in the victim's coffee cup. No poison was found in the vicinity or on the suspect's person. It is unclear how the poison entered the victim's coffee cup. Mr. Payne, what do you have to say about this? Well, really, Your Honor, May I interrupt you for just a moment, Mr. Prosecutor? Don't worry, my dear, I have the situation well in hand. Go right ahead. Madam Faye, are you seriously accusing me of killing my sweet Dougie? Yes, I am. Not only am I saying you murdered Doug Swallow, but you also tried to pin the whole thing on your current lover, Phoenix Wright. I told you that you should let me handle this. Sorry, please go ahead. How can you say that? I'm absolutely devoted to my dear Feeny. The notion that I would try to frame him is ludicrous. This is all just too much for poor little old me to bear. Oh, I believe this girl is trying to ask what on earth her motive would be. The answer to that lies somewhere in this police report. It must. 8 months ago, an incident occurred in the basement cafeteria of this building. And then that same day, the two of them accidentally met. Your Honor, the defense requests further testimony from Miss Dahlia Hawthorne. Further testimony? What about? About the events of the day when she first met the defendant, Mr. Phoenix Wright. What could that possibly have anything to do with this case? The witness claims that she has no reason to frame the defendant. Am I correct? Well, I have evidence that suggests that she, in fact, had a very good reason. Very well then. The court grants the defense's request. Young lady, would you mind staying on for just a bit longer? Of course not, Mr. Judge. Get ready for the battle of your life, Dahlia Hawthorne. I first met my darling Feeny 8 months ago. It's like we were destined to meet in this very courthouse's basement reading room. The moment our eyes met, my heart skipped a beat. Oh, the vial had poison in it. Okay. And she gave him the bottle so he could sneak out with it, so it wouldn't be evidence, basically. We've been going out ever since that fateful day. We're so lovey, we literally make people sick. It's just jealousy, I think. Mr. Wright, do that again and you will be held in contempt of court. And now we enter the final act of our little drama. As we used to say in the days of my youth, go get her. Uh, 8 months ago, sure, that's fine I think, but I'll press. So until that time you had been dating Doug Swallow. Yes, I'm a real fool, I know. Letting my emotions change so quickly, I'm ashamed of myself. No, not at all. Look at me. I'm infamous for changing my mind. My critics have even taken to calling me Judge Fickle. Ho ho ho. Maybe you should look for a different line of work. Despite that, however, he always hands down the correct verdict. That's why some people also call him the Great Judgini. That's a terrible name. The courthouse reading room. That's a strange place to meet the love of your life. That's not true, Madam Faye. After all, Feeny was not only an art student, but he was also planning on becoming a lawyer. I'm not talking about him, I'm talking about you, Miss Hawthorne. What was a literature student like you doing in a courthouse reading room? This line of questioning is a waste of time and has nothing to do with the murder case. Miss Fey, I'm warning you, if this has nothing to do with Mr. Swallow's case, I have to remember the judge is on Dahlia's side. I'd better tread carefully. Does it matter? Even if I get punished, it's not going to be that big of a deal. I'll press. I don't care. Your Honor, if you'll allow me some latitude, I think I can establish relevance. Please ask her to continue on her with her testimony. Very well. Young lady, I've got a simple question for you. What were you doing downstairs in the courthouse reading room? If it pleases Your Honor, the answer is simply this. I had come to this courthouse to do some research for a paper I was writing. Are you sure about that? You were writing a paper on what? On the relationship between modern senru poetry and the criminal underworld. Oh, that sounds like a fascinating research idea. Am I getting old? Now I've even forgotten what I've forgotten. Akin with this midlife crisis stuff. Mia, why did that girl really come to this courthouse? Isn't that what you wanted to know? And speaking of forgetting things, you haven't forgotten the police report, have you? I went through a lot of trouble to get it, my dear, so be sure to read it carefully. Yeah, I know. I kind of want to press the other stuff before doing that. So, was it about Mr. Wright that made your heart malfunction like that? In my personal opinion, he just looks like a typical snotty-nosed college brat. Perhaps to a woman your age, but to me, Feeney is handsome. Perhaps to you, Miss Hawthorne, but to the rest of the planet, he's a dime a dozen. Love is a mysterious thing, and I object this line of questioning. If you were to look at my wife, for example, you might all be shocked. He's telling the truth? It truly was shocking. Oh. It's funny. Beautiful mushroom, growing tall in the darkness, it comes from cow dung. That's the poem that best describes how I feel about my Feeney. That's not a very thoughtful poem. Okay, I'm glad I pressed that, actually. Present. Miss Hawthorne, you weren't here because of your research paper, were you? Didn't you actually come here for a much more important reason? What is the meaning of this cocky smile on your face, Miss Fey? 8 months ago, right here in this very courthouse, there was another tragedy. Another tragedy? Do you mean the incident in which the attorney was poisoned? The name of the suspect in that incident is listed here in this report. And that name is Dahlia Hawthorne. What? Dahlia Hawthorne? Yes, the sweetie pie of everyone's eye. Miss Dahlia Hawthorne. She was the prime suspect in a criminal case just 8 months ago. This is unbelievable. It's true. Miss Fey, that is not fair. You can't slander my... Winston Payne will not allow it. Mr. Prosecutor, I believe I was speaking. Pardon me. Go right ahead. It's true that about 8 months ago, the police expressed some interest in me. Express some interest, huh? Mr. Judge, sir, I know I'm under oath, so I'll tell you the absolute truth. I did not commit that crime that occurred during that incident 8 months ago. I see. Okay, I've tied the two crimes together. Now I've just got to stay on the offensive. Well done, Mia. You've really lit a fire in my heart, and my buttocks. I can hardly tell which is more inflamed, my spirit or my hemorrhoids. Can you stop mentioning them? I met the lawyer who was poisoned to discuss something in the cafeteria that day. I left my seat for just a moment, and that's when it happened. From what I heard, it was a liquid poison that is lethal at just 2 teaspoons. Not only that, I heard it was a very special kind of poison. So you see, I'm innocent. I wouldn't even know where to get a poison like that. So that's what happened here 8 months ago. However, as you've heard from the witness's testimony, she had nothing to do with it. I think the defense is just about out of tricks. I'm terribly sorry, Mr. Payne, but I'm afraid the defense has many more tricks up its sleeve today, and I'll be sure to show them to you before the end of this cross-examination. Alright, this might be the end of this trial? There's probably like a couple more cross-examinations, but we're getting close to the end. And I'll probably end stream after that point. It was going to be a short stream anyways. I just have something after, I think after 3:30. I might continue a little further on, but like at like 3:20 I might end. Which is about an hour from now. What was I doing? Oh, I was checking my messages. Do I have anything? Oh, 4. Okay, my thing's at 4. What the? Why does the defense suddenly feel stronger? Aha, Mia. You're glowing with a true lawyer's aura, my dear. The proud posture, self-confidence, absolutely smashing. Okay. What were you talking about with the defense attorney? Well, I'm sorry, but that's confidential. According to the report, you were being interviewed regarding another case. The lawyer that was killed, he said he wanted to talk about an incident I was caught up in when I was younger. Why don't you tell us all about that incident, what that incident was? That has absolutely nothing at all to do with this case. Objection sustained. The defense's question is stricken from the record. You get involved in a lot of incidents, don't you, Mrs. Hawthorne? Well, I guess I was just born under a bad sign. Don't worry, Dolly. I'll protect you. You heard the man? Now that is true love, young lady. Oh, Feeny, please. Gag. Those two really are mocking me ill. Or making me ill. I can't read anymore. Albeit for decidedly different reasons. I'm gonna see for just a moment. How long were you gone? I've already answered all these questions for the police. But if you must know, maybe 10 or 20 minutes. And where were you during this stretch of time? Using the toilet? What are you saying, Miss Faye? Toilet? My perfect little Dolly doesn't poop? Oh, come on, Phoenix, everyone poops. You heard the defendant, Miss Faye. Better luck next time. Judge, you can't believe this. Oh, Feeny, please. Second, welcome in. Are you on lunch right now? What a line to come into. It was an awesome line. Yeah, I decided not to do nonary games today. I'm just doing like the first case of Trials and Tribulations. I have something going on at 4, so it's going to be a shorter stream. The police have already looked into this whole matter. This line of questioning is nothing but a waste of the court's time. Objection sustained. Miss Hawthorne, please continue with your testimony. When I heard it was a liquid poison that was lethal. About how much liquid is 2 teaspoons? Well, let me see. My bottle of eye drops says 1/2 fluid ounce, which is equal to 3 teaspoons. So it's about 2/3 of that amount, huh? The poison was found in the lawyer's mug of coffee. It must have been after I left the table. Someone must have quietly slipped it in there. Yeah, you're on lunch? Okay. Enjoy your lunch. What are you having today? And not only that, I heard it was a very special kind of poison. A special kind of poison? How so? Well, I heard that it's almost impossible to detect. Oh, and where would something like that come from? I'm sorry, all I know is what I've overheard policemen saying. They said something about using advanced chemical processes to purify it. Chemical processes? Well, that's quite impressive. Most impressive. Okay, so The victim was fourth-year pharmacology student, so he probably made the poison. If I had to guess, if they were dating at the time. Oh, another bologna cracker Lunchable. Doritos and a mini muffin. Ooh. Oh, are those the, like... I don't know what brand they are, but I used to get those all the time as a kid. But they're, like, really tiny muffins. I'm guessing that's what you have. Do you get those free, or do you have to buy them from your work? Little Bites, yes, yes, I've had those before. Those are really good. When I worked at a grocery store, there was like a little basket in the lunchroom that was like up for grabs, but it was never really stocked that often. Sometimes there was like cheese crackers in it, and some granola bars sometimes. Some like... There's a lot of times where there's experimental, like, limited time chips that people just didn't like, and we got those. So, usually when they were close to the expiration date. Oh, with chips once in a while. Okay, yeah. We had the same thing. The better question is, how did the criminal get something like that? I'm trying to think, what was my go-to? Oh, I ate so poorly. My go-to was typically an energy drink, and there was a fresh bakery that made these amazing glazed, like, cinnamon twists. Oh, they were cheap. They were like $2 for 2 of them. $1 a piece. Oh my god, they were so good. And then other than that, sometimes there's a deli which had, like, deli sandwiches that I sometimes grabbed, but... they were usually out of them when I checked. So you see, I'm innocent. I wouldn't even know where to get a poison like that. And that's the reason they didn't arrest you. Because no one could show how you could have gotten the poison. I think that's a good enough reason, Madame Faye. She's right, and I think we've all had enough Miss Faye's questions. So in essence, the main reason Miss Hawthorne was never arrested for this crime was because no one could show how she could have obtained the poison. Then all we have to do is find a way to establish how she could have gotten some, right? Great. Now just how did a lit student get a hold of poison of all things? Yeah, I think I know. And I think it's just presenting Doug. This case is really easy. You wouldn't know how to get that kind of poison? I don't believe you. What? In fact, you had easy access to that kind of poison, didn't you? At your boyfriend's lab. But boyfriend? You mean the victim Doug Swallow? That's right. Up until 8 months ago, Miss Hawthorne was dating Mr. Swallow. And if you'll recall, Mr. Swallow was a pharmacology student at Ivy University. Pharmacology? His laboratory contained highly advanced chemistry equipment. In fact, without such equipment, the culprit could never have obtained such a rare and special poison. Well, Miss Hawthorne, it seems you had access to such a poison after all. And then it was a matter of slipping it into the victim's coffee when he wasn't looking. The only person who could have done that was the one sitting at this very table. You. No! Dude, it's over for you, princess. Could it be? That is nothing but a baseless accusation. May I say something, Madame Faye? What is it, Miss Hawthorne? Every intro trial is always Miss Winston Payne. Yeah, he's such a failure. This was probably the start of his downfall. The amount of poison in the coffee was 2 teaspoons, correct? In order to carry that much liquid, you would need some kind of container. Well, yes, that's true. I was searched immediately after the incident took place. Quite true. In fact, the entire courthouse was turned upside down. But they didn't find a suspicious container anywhere, did they? She's right. They even mentioned that in the report. Well, you could have easily gotten rid of something like that, something that small. Excuse me, madam, but this is a court of law. If you're saying I threw the poison container away, I think you need to show some kind of proof. Proof? She got me good with that. It's kind of obvious. I think it would have been better if earlier it didn't explain that that was a vial on the necklace. If it was just said it was a necklace. Because it would have been harder to get to this conclusion. Provide some evidence, or I'll have to disallow this line of questioning, Miss Faye. Unless we could come up with some evidence, we're going to lose this lead. The police conducted a full body search of Dahlia and the entire courthouse. And yet the container holding the poison disappeared right after the crime occurred. If we're going to accuse the young lady of committing the murder, then where is the container the poison was carried in? What happened to it? You were forced to get rid of that container in a hurry, weren't you? And that's why you passed it on to someone that had nothing to do with the case. Someone that you knew wouldn't be searched. Who is this person? Mr. Phoenix Wright, of course. So the defendant was this witness's accomplice? Of course not. She gave the poison to him disguised as a present. What? But that's... That's a charming little necklace. Is this a little bottle? It's really quite cute. So what about it? What does it mean, Miss Faye? The day that the witness met and fell for Mr. Phoenix Wright was 8 months ago. August 27th, the very same day as the poisoning incident. Under the pretense of love, the witness gave my client a present. All for the purpose of hiding the one piece of evidence that would give her away. What? Are you saying there's a deadly poison in here? No, there's no longer any poison in that bottle. However, I'm certain if the crime lab were to analyze it, they would find a trace amount. No! What? She failed miserably. Order in the court. On behalf of Dolly, I object. Mr. Wright, control yourself. I won't let you bully her like this. Mr. Wright, I thought I told you to stay in your seat. Mr. Wright, why? Why are you going through so much trouble to protect her? Why? Because I'm madly in love with her. Madly in love. I haven't heard anyone say that in a long time. Mr. Wright, have you ever thought about this? Why exactly would a woman like Dahlia Hawthorne want to date you anyway? Oh, that's gotta sting. He was such a big simp. Has he done that with anyone before? I feel like there was a case in a previous trial where he was like... Actually, wasn't it the pink-haired girl in the second... Was it the second trial in the first game? He was kind of simping her a bit. But then got annoyed with her. I might be misremembering. I can't remember her name. But she was in like the hotel room across the street. Well, I guess she must be madly in love with me too. Mr. Wright, please open your eyes. At this point in the trial, I think it should be obvious to everyone. The real reason that Dahlia Hawthorne is dating you is because of that necklace. Dahlia Hawthorne was not and is not madly in love with you. The only thing she's after is the bottle necklace you love to wear around your neck. My necklace? Back there in the waiting room, you said it yourself. Yeah, but she's so shy. Every time I see her, she always says the same thing to me. Please give it back now. I love that. What a strange girl asking for a present back like that. For Dahlia Hawthorne, that necklace is irrefutable evidence of her crime. I love how that makes her shy, is demanding the necklace back. And Phoenix is just like, oh, you're so funny. You're so shy. And just totally ignoring the question and demand. But I could totally see young Phoenix doing that. That's why she absolutely had to get it back. You're lying. But you never gave it back to her. And to make things worse for her, you insisted on showing it to everyone you met. That's why she... I don't believe you. No, that's a lie. Ugh. Gross. He's crying. But Mia, are you alright? The defendant, he's getting away. Bailiff, hurry. After him. Mia, are you alright? Yes, I think so. That boy. He went completely insane. Where's Mr. Wright? Oh, that's not him saying that. It looks like the bailiff caught him, so he should be back soon enough. Oh, welcome in, Pisaria. Congrats on first. Thank goodness. Oh no, I keep getting the voices mixed up. What is it? The bottle necklace. Miss Hawthorne's present. It's gone. What? That's terrible. Mr. Wright must have grabbed it when he slammed into me. Foolish boy. That's the only thing that could have saved him. What in blazes are we supposed to do now? Getting first 2 hours into stream? It's been a slow stream. Saturdays are always the same. But that's fine. I'm in it to play the game, not for the views. But yeah, I feel like Saturdays and Sundays are always the slowest, and then it picks back up on Tuesday through Friday. Although I don't ever stream Friday. We have movie nights that day. Mr. Wright, this sort of behavior is unprecedented in the history of this court. I'm sorry. I'm afraid that your apology is not enough. Mr. Wright, what did you do with the bottle necklace? Forgive me, I'm sorry. It's okay, just give back the necklace. Did he, like, flush it? He ate it? Dude, you're crazy. You what? You ate it. It was too big to swallow, so I had to chew it into little bits first, but yeah. Dunkirk, it was okay. I mean, I don't know why you guys were worried about it. Harry Styles only had like 4 lines in it. He was barely in the movie. But it was okay. There's a lot of stupid shit with it. Well, I know you had Sailor Moon that day, so I understand not coming to it. I get that part. But the fact that you were upset that Harry Styles was in it was a little unprecedented, if I do say. But I don't want to spoil anything, but there's basically 3 stories that went on in the movie. So you have the people on the beach waiting to get shipped off the beach, off of Dunkirk, and they're ready to go home. And all these ships keep going down because the enemy keeps firing at it. Oh, nice. Close to being done with Sailor Moon. Oh, no. Are you going to do something else after that? But, okay, back to this, what happened in the movie. And then there's the fighter pilots, which was actually kind of cool. That was the best part of the movie. Actually, the beach scene was pretty cool, too. There's a few instances where I really liked it. But then there's a third part of the movie, which... focused on I think he was a fisherman or something. He was a boater in the UK who came to save some people on the beach. Chrono, welcome in. I had to go to bed at 8 p.m. because I was tired. I hope the movie and Sailor Moon were good. Some other anime lined up. Ooh, interesting. Slapping a hose with gavels again, I see. Absolutely, Chrono. Nothing's changed. But it focused on a fisherman who came to save some of the soldiers. You know, he was cool. He was a badass. But there was a character who snuck onto the boat. And, you know what? I'll just spoil it because I don't think you guys care. But they find a survivor of a U-boat sink. Or there was a U-boat that sunk. And there was one soldier left over who came on the ship, and he had PTSD. He was a little insane. And he's a kid who snuck onto the boat, who shoved the kid down the stairs. It was like 4 feet. And then he was like, oh, I can't see. What's going on? And then he was being nursed the whole movie. And at the end of the movie, he's dead. He just dies from a 4-foot fall. And then later on, a newspaper comes out talking about this little boy's death and how heroic he is to save these soldiers. He didn't do shit. He didn't deserve the recognition. It's like a little part. Everything else is cool, but this is the part that pissed me off. This little boy who snuck onto the boat, escaping officers, I think, and he just randomly gets shoved. He doesn't do anything the whole movie except fight gravity, and he failed miserably. And he died to a 4-foot fall. And while this happens to him, people are getting mowed down on the beaches, shot out of planes in the sky, actually fighting for their country. And then George here, the character's name is George, dies to a minor fall. And then he gets a fucking article written about him. And I'm like, why? He didn't deserve this. That's enough. That's enough of my rant. But Dunkirk was okay. It's like mid. There's some really cool parts. There's some parts where you're like, this is stupid. But yeah, it's like a mix of those two feelings. Alright. Why the fuck did you eat the poison bottle, Phoenix? Tell me that. Ugh. What is he doing now? I mean, there was poison in the bottle. He should be dead. It's mid. Yeah, it's mid. There's some cool parts, but it's in the middle. It's average. It's not a good war movie. Well, maybe. It's not even a war movie. It's them trying to get off a beach. It had nothing to do with fighting war. It was them trying to leave war. Actually, you never even saw the other, like, side of the war. You saw random bullets fired at them, and you saw their enemy planes be shot down, but you don't really get to see a side of the enemy territory, which I thought was a little lame. Your Honor, you've got to stop the trial. Mr. Wright, are you feeling okay? Does your stomach hurt? That bottle you just swallowed may have had some poison left in it. It seems the defendant has proven the prosecution's case for us. Clearly that bottle did not contain a deadly poison. How can you be so sure? Isn't that obvious? As you can see, the defendant is still very much alive. As for the poison, more like a fledgling defense attorney's overactive imagination. So it would seem. No, there must be some mistake. The bottle must not have had any poison left in it. Either that or the poison must have lost its potency. There, it's all right, rookie. Trusting your client is the most noble thing a defense attorney can do. And it's heartwarming to see that you place this much faith in Mr. Wright. Oh, can I ask what other anime you have planned? Or is that spoilers? Is that supposed to be a surprise? But that's how it is for us on the prosecution side, too. For example, I would trust the witness, Miss Hawthorne, with my very life. Which is why I can state that your assessment of her is completely wrong. Oh, Steins Gate, nice. That's a good one. Have you seen it before? Unfortunately, Miss Fey, I cannot accept her explanation of the events. But why? This may be impossible for a beginner like you to understand, but in court of law, evidence is everything. You said it was your absolute favorite. See, I really like Steins Gate, but I gotta say, the first, 3 or so episodes did not hook me. It was extremely slow. But after that point, it picked up speed, and I enjoyed it immensely. I tried watching Steins Gate 0, but I got so bored I quit. It's got a very slow burn. But it is a very good anime. Yeah, it hits Mach speed. It's like, shit happens all the time. Even if, after I provide so much, is she going to get away with everything? Oh yeah, oh totally. Especially my beard. I have some that are like it's all curled up, and then I play around with my beard a lot. It's a bad habit. But then I get one that's like, oh shit, that's like a long hair. That's been there a while. Steins Gate Zero is good, but I never watched the anime. You play the visual novel. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense that it's good there. It was way too slow. I got halfway through it. I'm like, I'm just going to move on to something else. I don't typically give up on anime, but that was one of the exceptions. I just was not interested. Although, I did try to watch it like years after watching the original, and I didn't rewatch the original. Or the first season. Yeah, the side of my beard is like 5 inches. Holy shit. Is also better since a lot more details and stuff. Yeah, obviously. Yeah. I think that's the same with like Danganronpa. The anime is still top tier. The first season, yeah. Is there any more? I think there's another one called like Steins. It's like Robotic Wars or something. Robotic Notes. Or something like that. I think it's the same universe, but it's a different story. You don't know if it's actually that long, but it's close enough. It's a good guess. Well, now that the suspicion surrounding Miss Hawthorne has been cleared up, I would like to proceed. I never checked them out, though. Is there a lot? Oh, shit. I thought there was only, like, 1 or 2. Hey, Charlie. Mr. Wright. I'm sorry, Miss Faye. It totally slipped my mind. I'm really, really sorry. I know you believed in me, and I feel like I really let you down. Mr. Wright, what are you trying to say? There's something I forgot to tell you. What is it? That day. The day I met Doug Swallow. That girl, you shouldn't see her anymore. Yeah, Robotic Notes, something. Oh, Chaos Head. I remember hearing about that one. Just listen to me. There's something you need to know about that girl. Last night, someone poison? Poison? The same thing happened 8 months ago. A drug sample was stolen. She came to the lab that time, too. It could only have been her. That girl is a thief. Stop it. Don't talk about her like that. Dead, instantly. Richard Swallow. Oh no. Oh, that's too mean, though. Is it true? Did he really say that? That's ridiculous. There's one more thing. After I pushed him that day, I got worried and came back to have a look. And she was there. Dolly was right there. She was crouched down next to him. What? She told me not to ever tell anyone about it, but I'm sorry, Dolly. Your Honor, this is... The defendant is... Miss Faye, you tell them. Dolly didn't do it. She's innocent. So Dahlia stole poison 8 months ago too, huh? If you put that together with Mr. Wright's testimony, then there's only one possible conclusion. The defense believes that Miss Dahlia Hawthorne stole some poison on the night before she killed Doug Swallow. The night before? Naturally, her motive for stealing it was to kill someone. Miss Faye, if you're so certain of your theory, then let me ask you this. Mia, this is your last chance. Think carefully now. Gotta get back to work, so enjoy the rest of this. Thank you, second. Enjoy the rest of your work period or day or hours. I don't know how much you have left, but hopefully it gets over quickly and you could relax the rest of the night. Thanks for coming out here on your lunch break. It means a lot. There's something that she desperately wanted to get back. Therefore, exactly who was Miss Dahlia Hawthorne planning to kill? Probably Phoenix Wright. It's the only answer. There was one person that was standing squarely in Miss Dahlia Hawthorne's way. And that person was? And that person was Mr. Phoenix Wright.
Objection!
Me? That's preposterous. After all, it was Doug Swallow that was murdered. Well, it's true that that's how things worked out, but let's remember that Mr. Swallow died of electrocution, not poison. The person that Miss Hawthorne was planning to poison was, in fact, you, Phoenix Wright. There's no one else that it could be. But how can that be? I thought Mr. Wright and Miss Hawthorne were in love. Nah. Wishful thinking. Poor Mr. Wright. This must be killing him. Hang in there. I'll bring her to justice. I swear it. As I said before, the only thing Miss Hawthorne truly cared about was the one piece of evidence linking her to that incident 8 months ago. That's right. The bottle necklace. That's all she cared about. But even so, why would she go so far as to murder him? 8 months ago, just after the fall of that attorney in the basement cafeteria, Dahlia Hawthorne could think of only one thing: how to get rid of the bottle necklace as quickly as possible. No, it can't be. It was a pretty good move she made, too. The evidence was missing for a long time. But there was just one big problem. Although she got him to hide the evidence, Mr. Wright refused to return it to her. Him being an idiot helped him so much. To him, the tiny little bottle was cherished treasure. He even showed it to everyone he met. You mean that's why she tried to kill Mr. Wright? Correct, Your Honor. It was to retrieve that piece of evidence. But that can't be true. Better believe it, buddy. Beanie, what a joke you are. Honestly, how can any woman ever count on you for anything? I even told you time and time again to keep your trap shut about me and that necklace. You disgust me. Miss Hawthorne, it appears that we're nearing the end of this trial. Fine, I can tell you plan on making me into a criminal no matter what I say. You are a criminal, Miss Hawthorne. We'll see about that, but first, where's your evidence? It seems your sniveling little crybaby of a client has eaten the bottle as a snack. Hey old man, are you senile or something? Why don't you say something instead of sitting there with your, that dumb look on your face? Miss Hawthorne, what's happened to you? Are you really that shocked? Or do you prefer me this way, Mr. Judge? With absolutely no proof, you treat a voluntary witness like she's a mass murderer. Well, I have nothing more to say. I'll be heading home now if you don't mind. But we're not finished. Fine, then I'll ask this nasty old hag to finish up already. Man, she's a certified bitch, huh? I can't let her get away this time. Stop, Mia. If you keep on pushing without any evidence, you could pay the ultimate price as a lawyer. The ultimate price? You'd be forced to take off the attorney's badge forever, I'm afraid. No. You better think it over carefully, Miss Fay. Or should I say, Miss Gray? That's a terrible insult. Well, Miss Fay, can you provide evidence that would establish her guilt once and for all? If I mess up here, my career as a lawyer is over. But to be honest, at this point, I don't have any evidence that's well-founded. Even so, I'd rather lose my attorney's badge than let her get away with murder. Your Honor, the defense would like to present proof. Impossible! You can't possibly. Stupid woman. It is the opinion of the court that there has already been enough discussion. Therefore, I will allow only one piece of evidence to be presented. Just one? If you are unable to establish her guilt, then I'm afraid that a very harsh verdict will immediately be handed down on Mr. Wright. I understand, Your Honor. I can just imagine the headlines for tomorrow's newspaper. Up-and-coming lawyer plummets to earth before she gets the chance to soar. She was planning to poison Mr. Wright. If that's the case, then the poison was probably in there. Oh, what's in there? I'm gonna save real quick. I can't save! I waited too long. Oh, it was in the medicine. Okay, it wasn't too hard. Now, do I choose this one? Or this one? Probably this. Here it is, Your Honor. The evidence that will prove her guilt once and for all. Cold Killer X. Phoenix Wright's beloved cold medicine. I hate how it's beloved. Does our rookie defense attorney have a bit of a cold? If I did, I still wouldn't take this cold medicine. After all, it's been poisoned. What? Remember what the defendant said in his testimony. But I lost my bottle of it around lunchtime on the day of the accident. I always eat with Dolly, just the two of us. She was the only one who took his bottle of Cold Killer X. Then she poisoned it, knowing that Mr. Wright was going to take some. Now you're really grasping at straws. After all, it was the victim Doug Swallow that was holding the medicine. I would like the court to recall the crime that happened near 8 months ago. Where did Miss Hawthorne hide the evidence? Huh? What are you talking about? 8 months ago, the poison was hidden in her bottle necklace, which she then gave to someone else for safekeeping. Someone she had accidentally run into in the reading room. My client, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Yes, that's right. She did the same thing this time as well. After shoving the victim, Mr. Phoenix Wright left the scene of the crime. Which wasn't a crime at the time. That is when the murderer, Dahlia Hawthorne, appeared. With her, she was carrying the poisoned bottle of Cold Killer X. This, of course, was so she could carry out her plan to murder Mr. Wright. I believe she did testify that she was going to meet with the defendant. Yes, and she heard and saw everything that happened at the scene of the crime, including what the defendant and victim were arguing about, and the cut electrical cable. That's when she realized. She used the severed electrical cable to silence him forever. Unfortunately for her, this is when the problem occurred. Mr. Wright, who she thought had left the scene, came back to check on the victim. And on top of that, because of the power outage, some students showed up as well. It's hardly any wonder that she was, as she put it, in a state of panic. Recall that she was carrying the bottle of poisoned cold medicine. She must have thought, what if they searched me like they did 8 months ago? 8 months ago? Yes, she disposed of the evidence exactly the same way as she did back then. She had someone else hold it. In this case, Doug Swallow. It feels like a terrible idea. Why not just throw it down a toilet or something? Oh, come on now. Everyone, surely you aren't fooled, are you? This stupid woman, she's nothing but a filthy, stinking liar. Right, Mr. Prosecutor? Huh? Yes, that's exactly right. It's just pure desperation. I wonder which one of us is the desperate one. So, Miss Hawthorne, this cold medicine, I wonder if you wouldn't mind taking some. Well, Mr. Wright ate that necklace of yours, right? Now it's your turn to prove your innocence. What do you say? I don't think Phoenix Wright actually ate the necklace. I think he's lying about that. I don't think he would destroy it if it was like a treasured thing of his. If I'm just a filthy, stinking liar, then there's no need to worry. So come on, show us. I dare you take some of this medicine right now. Maya Fey. Maya Fey. Do you think you've won? Well, do you, Maya Fey? Or Mia Fey? I keep mixing that up. That's just fine. For the time being, victory is yours. For the time being. Well, I have a very long memory, you know? You and I will meet again. I'm certain of it. Is that a threat? Well then, Mr. Judge, I'll see you later too, okay? Huh? Why, yes. I'm gonna go spend a little quality time with the men in blue now. I wish you all the best. She can just do that? That's allowed? It's finally all over. I refuse to accept this. The defense hasn't shown a scrap of evidence to support their outrageous claim. But even so, your witness seems to have accepted it. I don't care. I'm Winston Payne. And I don't believe one word that this rookie lawyer has said. Just test the medicine. Well then, Mr. Payne, let me ask you this. Yes? Would you care to try this cold medicine? What? Just a little earlier, I could have sworn you said... There, it's all right, rookie. For example, I would trust the witness, Miss Hawthorne, with my very life. So, if she's so trustworthy, then I'm sure there couldn't possibly be any poison in here, right? Well, you see, and here comes the backpedal. Come on now, rookie killer. Show this rookie how it's done. How much trust do you really have for this woman? Why are you trying to kill him? Are you willing to bet your life? Oh, that's how he lost all his hair? My beautiful hair? Oh, his beautiful pompadour is gone. Mr. Payne, about this Dahlia Hawthorne. Yes, Your Honor. I'll file papers for her immediate arrest. Tragic, but not surprising. I knew there was something suspicious about her from the very beginning. Don't lie, just admit you were wrong. By the way, Miss Faye. Yes, Your Honor. Was it just me, or did you and Miss Dahlia Hawthorne seem to know each other? Your Honor, whether we did or not has no bearing on this case. Very well. Mr. Payne, this can't be happening. It appears Mr. Payne has lost his spirit along with his hair. Yeah, just really pointed out to him. Does the defendant have anything further to say? It can't be true, my dear Dolly. Very well then. I believe I am ready to pass judgment and bring this trial to an end. The court finds the defendant, Phoenix Wright, not guilty. We did it. This court is adjourned. Alright. First trial done. I believe there's 5 in this one. The previous game had 4. Mia, you were wonderful in there. Thank you for everything, Mr. Grossberg. During the verdict, I thought my hemorrhoids were going to explode like Mount Vesuvius. Mr. Grossberg, do you, maybe think you could stop talking about them? That's rather rude. It's kind of rude that you're bringing up all the time. Anyway, this case really made me think. What does it really mean to have a relationship of mutual trust with the client? Perhaps it is we veteran lawyers who have lost sight of this. Oh, Mr. Wright, congratulations. Thanks. You know, I was thinking. Go on. The dolly that I saw up there on the witness stand. I don't think that was really her. What? Yeah, the dolly I know never would have, could never have said those kinds of terrible things. Maybe she was like, I don't know, a fake or something. Boy, this poor kid still hasn't got a clue. You need to forget about her, Mr. Wright, for your own sake. Yeah, you're right, it's probably for the best. Also, you need to relax a bit more, try to grow up a little. But out of all my friends, everyone says I'm the most grown up. Ugh, what kind of company does this guy keep? Right now, I am studying to become a lawyer myself. That's what you keep saying. But I thought you were in the art department. Well, yeah, I mean, But there's a friend that I desperately want to help. And if I hurry, then I should still be able to save him in time. I see. Say, Miss Fay? A lawyer is someone who can help people when they're in trouble, right? Mr. Wright, I'm still new at this myself. But I think that's exactly what a lawyer is. Okay, I'm gonna do it. I'll study my butt off. I'll become a lawyer for sure. I hope. I hope we can see each other one day. I missed most of that, but that's probably what it boils down to. It's been 5 years since I was acquitted of all charges. I became a lawyer like I planned, and managed to save my friend. But Mia has passed on to a better place. For me, this trial brings up a lot of painful memories. But it also brings up some very precious ones. And memories that I thought would never rise to the surface again. Mia is gone now, but even so, I can hear her in my mind. Phoenix, no matter what, always believe in your client. In a court of law, your greatest weapon is your belief. 5 long years. Something has happened that's made me think back to her words wisdom. But that is a story for another day. First trial done. We've got 4 more left. The stolen turnabout. Oh, and we get the new prosecutor, which I think his name is Godot or Godot, something around those lines. But I'm very intrigued to see what kind of trials we get this game. Hopefully we don't get another crazy circus one. But I think it is time for me to end the stream. I do have somewhere to be in about a half hour, so I need to prepare for that, get ready. But thanks everyone who came out today. I know it's a slow day. I wasn't expecting much, but the fact that you guys even showed up means a lot to me. I'm going to see if anyone